Hi, welcome to QA Scripts. In this video, we will learn what is an array, how many types of arrays we have in Java, how to declare them with examples. What is an array? Let me take one simple example. Let's say we have 20 employees in a company. Everyone has employee ID. We know that all employee IDs are numbers and of same data type. If I ask you to store all employee IDs to variables, you will create 20 variables like int employee ID equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, that is number. Int employee ID 2 equals to 1, 2, 3, 5, this is employee ID for second employee. Int employee ID 3 equals to 1, 2, 3, 6. Like this you will go on creating 20 variables to accompany 20 variables or 20 employee IDs. Think that we have 100 employees, so we have to create 100 variables to store those IDs. It creates lot of variables and it takes lot of time. Since all the employee IDs are same data type, what is the necessary to create 20 different variables or 100 different variables? It's time consuming, as I said. Is there any other mechanism or other way so that I can create one variable and store all the 20 or 100 values to it? Yes, there is a way. That's what we call as array. So what is an array? Array represents a group of elements of same data type. Here I have underlined same data type because the array is nothing but it's a group of elements of same data type. Java allows store a group of int variables or group of float variables or string variables, that is group of string variables, but not group of int, float, string variables in a single variable or single array. No, it cannot be stored all type of data into a single variables. That's why I have underlined this is a group of elements of same data type. How to declare an array? It's as simple as declaring other variables, but we have to append square bracket at data type. Let us look at normal variable declaration and initialization. How we were declaring and initializing the variable? Here is the way. Int, that is data type, and variable name, that is a, equals to 12. Here I have assigned value as 12 to variable a. This is a normal declaring a variable as well as initializing the variable. Array variable declaration, how it is different from normal variable declaration? As I said, we have to append square bracket for the data type. Here I have used int square bracket. As usual, variable name, now it calls as array name, that is a, equals to, since this is a group of elements, it's not going to store only one value. Since it's a group of elements or variables or value, hence we have to put it into bracket, like in the curly bracket. Here I have used curly bracket, then I have separated each and every values by comma. So this is how we can declare an array of data type int. If you want to go for float data type or double or long, yes, here is this is the same way. Instead of putting int, we have to put float, and again the value will be varying according to the float values. But overall declaration of an array is nothing but data type followed by bracket, then the array name equals to array values in the curly bracket. You can also declare in this way. Here I have given data type, then array name. After array name I have given the bracket. Either of one you can use, both are acceptable. When you declare an array variable, system allocates some space in memory. Say in the above example I have given 10 values. So when I create an array with 10 values, system will create space in memory with a 10 blocks as I showed in this graphics. So here there are 10 values. Index will always start from 0. So what is this index always start from 0 is nothing but when I say int a equals to 1 2 3 4 up to 10, the one value will sit in the first block, that is 0th block. Value 2 will sit at the first block. Value 3 will be sitting at the second block. So array will having length 10 because value you are given 10 values you are given, but the space how it is create and how it is going to assign those values into the box is it will have index starting from 0 and ending with 9, because from 0 to 9 it will be 10. This entire length we call this as a array length. Default value of int array is always 0. Suppose you have created array of length 10 but you have not given value for the 10th position, then it will take as 0. The default value of int array is 0. Likewise the default value of string array is null. Here is an simple example. What is that? Here I have created one class called array having main method inside it. I will declare one array of int data type, that is my list equals to, I will give value as 10 20 30 40 50. How to retrieve these values? We have to use for loop. Here I have used normal for loop where I have given int I equals to 10, that is I am initializing, declaring and initializing. Then I am saying I less than my list dot length. Dot length is the method comes along with array. When you declare an array, this method will be coming along with array. So when I say my list dot, you will be able to see length in Eclipse. So let us see that once we go to the Eclipse, but let us understand first what is the logic I have used to retrieve the value. Okay, when I say my list dot length, it will automatically take the length of array. So in this example the length of array is 5, that is 1 2 3 4 5. So the loop will iterate 5 times. Here I have given I plus plus to increment the value. System dot out, as usual I am using to print out. Here I cannot directly put the array name, since if I put directly the array name, it will not print the value one by one. To make it print one by one, I am using I. So my list of I, and I am giving space to make it available or print in a particular manner. Let me go to Eclipse and let me show that how exactly it looks like. Here is the way. First I have declared array as my list. As I said, when you type my list dot, you will be able to see different methods. Out of them there is a one method called dot length. When you say dot length, this particular line will give what is the length of array. The same thing I have used in the system.print.ln, sorry, system.out.println. Here I have given a message called length of array my list is so and so, so that it will print the length of array. Then I have used for loop, and here I am giving my list dot length to iterate 5 times. Let me execute this piece of code. When I execute this piece of code, what happens? It will retrieve the value one by one, and here it will display using system.out.println. So here is the result. Value of my list is 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. This is using simple for loop. But there is another for loop called advanced for loop or for each loop. That loop also can be used here. Let me comment this piece of code, and I'll uncomment the line number 10, 11, 12 and 13. Here I am using advanced for loop or for each loop, where I am using the name of array at the right side of colon, and I am using one int data type variable. I am just giving a temp, that is a variable of data type int, at the left side of colon. So when I start executing from the back end, it will count what is the length of array and it will iterate those many times. So first the value of 10 will come to my list here, then it will assign to temp, and that temp will be getting printed here. Again it will go back and it will take, my list will take the second value and it will assign to temp, then again it will print. Like that it will go on taking the value one by one and it will assign. Once it reaches the end of length, array length, then it will become 0, so it will come out of the loop. So let me execute this piece of code now. So here the example for array with advanced for loop, this is a message coming out from this particular line, and as usual value of my list is 10, 20, 30, 40, so and so. So either of one loop you can use, that is normal for loop or advanced for loop. Let me comment this. So this is a simple example I have already explained. Sometimes you will know the length of array but not the value of array. For example, in the previous example we know the length of array or value of array, that is 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Let me take one simple example. Here is the snap of a newspaper where we have a section called latest news. In this latest news, in real time, the number of links will be fixed, maybe 10, 15 or 20, but value will be getting changed. For example, the first link here, it says that Maruti confident of shareholders so and so, but tomorrow the link will be there, but value, the text of this link may not be same, it may be different, right? So we know that length of links or number of links, we know that is 10 or 20 or something, but we don't know the text out of it, so we cannot directly put into the curly bracket of that particular link text, because tomorrow it will going to change. At that case, what we can do, we can use another way of array, another way of declaring array, where we will mention the length of array, that is number of links are going to present in this latest news section, but not the values. We'll assign values at the runtime, means when we get that value of link, we'll assign the text to particular array. How to declare that kind of array is very simple. Here I am using string as data type, and as usual bracket, then I am saying links, that is name of array equals to, instead of using curly bracket, here I am using a keyword called new. This is inbuilt keyword in Java, that is new, all small, followed by string of array. So here I am mentioning 5. 5 is nothing but length of array, means I am declaring a array without value with length. So string of links equals to new string 5. So it will hold only 5 values or links text. Let me take one example. Here I am just declaring the array without having text or value. Later I will assign the values. How to do it? Very simple. I am using string data type names, that is variable, array name of equals to new string of 5. So how to assign the values once we get the values from page? Very simple. Here I am assigning as names of 0 equals to Microsoft. This will assign into the block at the first index. Name of 1 equals to Infosys, name of 2 equals to TCS, name of 3 equals to Wipro, name of 4 equals to HCL. Like this you can assign the value of particular link or button or anything in real condition. If you want to assign the value or text from application or from table or from any means which is coming from, you can use the array where you can declare length of array before assigning the values. Later what I have done in this example, I am just counting the length of array, that is names dot length. Then I am using advanced for loop where I am using names at the right side of colon. Then I am declaring one variable called get name of data type string. Then I am using system.out.println to print all the values. Let me go back to Eclipse and show. Here is the example. Let me uncomment this first. So let me execute. What happens? Here it says length of array names is 5 and the values are going to display here as Microsoft, Infosys, TCS, Wipro and HCL. Let me delete length 4th value and execute. When I execute this particular program, since 0, 1, 2, 3 arrays are having values, but 4th array or position is not having any value, hence it's not displaying the value out of 8. If you cannot increase the length of the number of links text or value, because the length of array you have defined as 5. So it will only have capacity to get the 5 values of length. If I want to go for next one, if I want to go for 5th position, and let me say okay, ABC. Here I am assigning ABC value. The length of array is 5, but I am trying to assign 6th value. So when I execute it, what happens? It will display one exception, that is array index out of bound exception. It says that the array what you are trying to place the value is out of bound, so it's restricted that only 5 values can hold this array. So this is understood that how many what is the length of array you have defined, those many values it should accept, and it will accept. If you want to go for higher value, then you have to change the length of array. Here I have a few more examples where it shows that how to use simple for loop as well as advanced for loop. Okay, till now we have used only values in one row and one column, but in real condition what happens, we are going to assign two values in one value in a different ways, that is into a table format. How to do it? Very simple. There is another way of array where we can store multiple values in more than one rows as well as columns. Such arrays are being called as two-dimensional arrays. How to declare two-dimensional array? Very simple. Here we are going to increase the bracket by 1. So initially we were declaring the array using only one bracket, that was single dimensional array, and it was having capacity to hold only one row of array, that is group of elements, but only in one row. Here I am increasing one more bracket, and also I am using length of array with a different bracket. Here I have used two bracket, square bracket. One is says that 2, another says 6. When I say 2 6, this is understand, it's going to tell that the two-dimensional array will going to have two rows and 6 columns. So first bracket says how many rows it's going to have, and second bracket it says how many columns you are going to have it. So when you create two-dimensional array, it allocates the space in memory as a table with rows and columns. Here is the simple graphics. When I say string r equals to new string of 2 6, so this is nothing but it will create total 3 different columns starting from 0. When I say 2, it will create 3 because it always start from 0 index. That's what we have seen. Of course I have here I have done mistake. Instead of 2 I would have given as 3. Okay, so this is how it creates, that is column row 1 to row 3, and here row column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, and column 6 having 0 as index. How to assign the values? Very simple. If you say r of 0 0 equals 20, so it means that row value is 0, column value is 0, means it will start at the first row, that is 0 row and 0 column. So here the 20 value will going to come and sit. When I say row, that is r of 1 of 3, it means first row, third column, that is here r1, that is first row and third column. This is how the 30 value is going to come and sit here. How to retrieve the value of two-dimensional array? Here is the interesting point. If you use two-dimensional array, you have to use nested for loop, means for loop in another for loop. So here I have given one example where I have declared my list, that is multi-dimensional array. Then I am assigning the length of row is 4 and column is 3. Here I am creating one int data type, that is int data type value, that is temp, and I am assigning variable value as 10. So temp equals to 10. So initial value of temp is 10. Now I am using for loop, that is here I am declaring and initializing the array variable, I variable, that is int I equals to 0, I less than 4, means I am initially I am saying it should have only 4 or less than that, it should iterate 4 times or less than that. Then I am saying I plus plus. So it it's not sorry, I have confused. The condition what I am giving here is I less than 4, so it should iterate less than 4 times. Now I am declaring one more, I am using one more for loop where I am declaring variable j and initializing value, saying that j equals to 0 and j should be less than 3. I am hard coding of course, and I j plus plus. Now what I am doing here, I am using my list of I or j equals to 10, means I my list of 0 first time it will be 10. Next time what I am doing, I am using temp equals to temp plus 10, means I am increasing the value of temp by 10. Now it will print out the value of my list, that is 0 means 10, and when it goes back to for loop, I j value becomes 1, I value will be remaining as 0. Now this my list will become 0 1, but value of temp will be 10 plus 10, that is 20. So 20 will sit at the first row, second column. Like that it will go on increasing the I as well as j value, and it will create a table and it will assign those values. Let us look at that particular example here, where I am using let me use a normal loop first, then I will show using advanced for loop. Here I have okay, so here this is not the one, let me go back. Yeah, this is a example. Here I am declaring one variable, that is temp, and I am using nested for loop. When I execute this particular code, what happens, it will display the variable arrays value as values 10 20 30. Then it will go back to the main for loop, again it will start printing out saying 40 50 60, so on. So here is the another example where I am declaring one multi-dimensional array and I am assigning the values at the same line. Here I am using curly brackets. Inside the curly bracket I am using one more curly bracket to make it group, and here it says that 1 2 3 4, that is 4 rows and columns, sorry, this is 1 2 3, that is 3 rows and columns are 1 2 3 4. So 4 columns will be, it will create 3 rows and 4 column array, and it will print out. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions or doubts or feedbacks, please send this to info@qascripts.com or qascripts25@gmail.com. Thank you.